What's up, everybody? Azaro here for another episode of the Wrap Up Review series where I review games that I've recently finished, or in this case, recently just gave up on because of how negatively I feel about the game. The game I'm talking about is Thundercats for the Nintendo DS based on the 2011 remake of the 1980s cartoon. Um, Thundercats is a platforming side-scrolling adventure where you journey with Lion-O, where you play as Lion-O with Tigra, Chitara, Wily Cat and Wily Kit and Panthro as support characters in the game. And the whole journey is you going to search for the Book of Omens and to defeat Mumra to avenge your Lion-O's father's death. And that's basically what the story is. This wrap up review is pretty much going to be a lot of negativity for obvious reasons, because the negatives outweigh the positives by a landslide in this game. I've seen reviews where people have given this game a .2 out of 10, like scores like 28 out of 100, like 2s out of 5s. I mean, just terrible scores, and I agree with them wholeheartedly. This game becomes a chore after a while you play it. I mean, here's the thing. When you first start playing a game, there's your attack button, which is, it doesn't even matter. I'm not going to bother trying to explain the controls, because there's too much negativity. Like, the bad outweighs the good by so much. Like, it's hard for me to be positive about the game, because there's so much potential that went wasted that it's very upsetting, especially to a guy like me who grew up watching Thundercats, and and I even watched the 2011 remake. It's really just saddening and hardening to see this. So as you travel through these stages, like I said, it's a side-scrolling adventure. Mind you, with the style of game that it is, they expect you to be like very agile as a cat is, while going around collecting these different items. Like, they have half of watermelons, chickens, and they have like this big platter full of like a meat and fruit on it, which are made to replenish your health. And obviously different ones replenish your health by a certain amount. And the other items that they have in the game are these the Thundercat insignias. Now, when you get these, you are able to use one of the 4 support characters, and when you use that, it goes down by 1, and that's how that works. Another item you get in the game, which to my knowledge is the only other item in the game, is a sword. Now, what the swords do is they increase your attack power, and you also get like this thunder lightning effect on the sword whenever you swing it. And that's basically what the game turns out to be. You gathering these swords to the point where it's like, it's not even a challenge for you to get the swords after a while, because like they just hand them to you like on a silver platter. Like, they be right there in front of you. All you gotta do is just like hop up to like 2 platforms, and that's it. Other than that, one other thing they have in this game is that the Thundercat like insignia call, but in this game, like, it's in the form of of a beam. You know, like as you play through the game and as you're attacking, you know, this meter fills up that's underneath the life bar. Once it fills up, the sword at the bottom of the screen, like we'll start like flashing the words uh, Thundercat Ho, you know, which is what Lionel says in the anime to like single as to like uh signal the Thundercats, you know, like it's time for a fight. But it shoots out this red beam and it hits everything that's um in its path, and like just depending on how strong the sword is or how weak the monsters are, I guess you can say, it takes them out in one hit. Because I've used it a couple times, and you can see through the playthrough that you can use it, but obviously it doesn't seem to do as much damage as it, in all honesty, should do. Um, if you ever played this game, I feel sorry for you because like you really just wasted your damn time. In this game, like the way it's just designed, you need some type of uh, uh, defense against what's being thrown at you. Because the way that they designed it is just not enough. They expect you to be like this agile cat, but the controls are sometimes like delayed, like on the jumps and the swings, like just slightly. Uh, it's just they expect you to be like this quick and fast and agile cat, but it's just not enough. They should have put in certain mechanisms. For example, Lionel has the gauntlet in the game. In the anime, he has used it as like a shield to create like this beam energy shield. For whatever reason, they decided not to do that within this game, and they didn't give him any type of defensive mechanism, like nothing to parry with, and no type of guard, which was stupid because of how the game mechanics work. Again, when you play through these stages, you have to pretty much be perfect all the way through the run, cause you can make it say all the way to the boss. Mind you, there are no checkpoints in this game. No checkpoints whatsoever. None. So if you lose at that boss, you have to backtrack so much. You have to go back to the beginning of the stage, and that wouldn't be a problem. Like, um, even without the checkpoints, if the stages wasn't so long, you know what I mean? If the stages wasn't so damn long, that wouldn't even be that much of an issue. But when you have a stage that is just that literally takes you, I say like a while to get through, you finally make it to the end. You have all these jumping obstacles that are inconsistent. For example, this one stage where they have these rocks falling, the rocks fall at such an inconsistent pace where if you miss that one point where the rocks just sink up, you gotta sit there and you gotta wait like 5 to 10 minutes for the rocks to sink back up. Like, well, I want to say 5 to 10, probably like 5 to 8 minutes, but still, you have to sit there and wait for everything to line back up till you can just get to the next platform and make it out of that section of the stage. Again, there are no checkpoints, so if you just happen to fall or anything like that, you have to start all the way over back from the beginning. And it told so much to the point where it's like it really becomes a chore because obviously you're not going to beat these bosses the first time you face them. So to have that type of punishment to like the new guys, excuse me, well, to like the new people that are playing it that haven't played it before, which is pretty much everybody that gets the game, they're gonna be pissed off knowing that you got to start all the way back there. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous, and it really becomes a chore after a while that you have to continuously do that. It becomes repetitive, it becomes annoying, and it becomes boring. Um, let's see. I spoke on the checkpoints already. The lack of the checkpoints. The bosses in this game are like I wouldn't say that they're difficult. They're easy, but there's like one or two from like what I played. They are bad because you don't like. There's no type of tutorial in the game that even tells you how to do anything. First off, I guess they just expect you to like there's no like control scheme or like my bad, I said scheme, but I mean like a control layout that lets you know what does what. Um, and you end up like using the support characters. Oh, that's right, I forgot to talk about them. Let's talk about what the support characters do before I get into that. Um, because there's some huge issues with, like with this. Okay, so they give you four support characters, and you get them pretty quickly early in the game. Of course, it's a Tigra, um, Wily Kit and Wily Cat, uh, Panthro, and Chitara. Now, when you get when you use a support character, it uses one of the Thundercat insignias. Cause Lionel, like, he just tosses up the on like his sword, he screams Thundercat ho, and like the insignia shoots up, and depending on who you pick, like they just come out of the middle of nowhere, and they like perform certain actions with um with Tigra. He comes and he just uses his blaster and he shoots everything on the screen. With Chitara, what she does is that she comes down from above you, um, like twirling her stick, like making this this wind tornado uh, like type of attack that hits everything that's near you. With Panthro, he comes like in the Thunder Tank, and I'm not exactly sure how it works. I'm guessing that you press at the bottom of the screen like with your stylus, and you guide the crosshairs. That way, when the tank shoots, it can hit the target. But I don't know how to control the crosshairs though. That's the thing. And the Thunder Tank shoots on its own. Like, you have no control over when it fires or what. So, well, like, like from my experience, like I haven't been able to control the fire. I'm not, so I haven't really experienced it. I don't know if it does it on its own or if it happened because I was holding down a button or what. I don't know because it doesn't explain anything. Um, and with Wily Kit and Wily Cat, they come and they play their flutes or whatever, and if there's any enemies on the screen, well, they come and they like play their flutes and they toss out random items. Sometimes it's health, sometimes it's other sword, and sometimes it's like Thundercat insignias. I think depending on what they throw out, I think it depends on your health levels. But Also, what happens if there are any enemies on the screen, excluding bosses, their song puts them in a daze. So that way you can get free hits off of the monsters. Um, but here's the thing with that: they didn't fix a lot of things in this game, and sometimes you run out of health so quick that you end up being so dependent on those support characters, most notably Wily Kit and Wily Cat, for them to toss out like health items, like chicken, watermelons, or like the big platters full of fruit and meat. You know, like you end up being so dependent on that to the point where like every time you call them out, it's necessary for like you to get all the healing items, or at least as many as you can, to restore your health up to what it needs to be. But here's the thing that really pisses me off: sometimes if you're in like the corner and you call them and they're tossing out health items, or like sometimes like it could be like one health item, like a sword, like in a Thundercat insignia, like I said, like it's at random. Sometimes, like it's been times where I gotten like 3 swords or 3 Thundercat insignias, or like 3 various health items. But sometimes they throw the health items off of the screen to where you can't even get them. So let's say your health is down by a little bit, and you need a health item, and you call Wily Kit and Wily Cat, and they start playing their tunes or whatever, and they toss out 3 random items like a sword, a Thundercat insignia, and a health item. The health items is going to get thrown off the screen where you can't even go. So you pretty much get assed out. You know. Oh, and another thing with the boss battles, this is something else that pisses me off, cause sometimes when you hit the bosses, sometimes like they drop items. Of course, like the only items that are named that are in the game. Sometimes they drop items that you may need. Other times they don't do it. So you going in these boss battles with which is most likely on low health, um, you're gonna end up, how can I put this, um, lucking out. You're gonna end up lucking out at times because they don't always do that. Like you can lose, get sent back to the beginning of the stage, come all the way back to the boss, fight it again, and get a completely different result. When you hit them, they drop items, and it's really just bullshit. I don't want to finish this game. I'm pissed that Aspect and Namco Bandai Games even decided to release this piece of crap. They know better than this. It's 2012. Who the hell doesn't put checkpoints in a damn game, especially one like this that actually needs it? You can tell they didn't test it, because obviously if they did, then they pretty much didn't give a shit, you know. And it's like, again, I say it's fucked up that games like this are being released in 2012. Maybe they thought just because it's going on the Nintendo DS that it wouldn't get that much attention, or maybe they just didn't care, which I believe it's really just a sad sight to behold. So my final, you know, score of this game is going to be, in all honesty, 2 out of 10. This has got to be the worst game I've played this year by far. And it's sad to say that, because this game was highly anticipated when it was announced. Well, it wasn't even announced, matter of fact. At least I don't know if it was announced or not. Like, I don't pay attention to gaming news or things of that nature. Like, I look at when the games are coming out. I haven't seen any advertisements for it. But, you know, the fact still remains. They're releasing games like this in 2012, and this is just so much potential got wasted. So much potential got wasted in this game. So, again, I wouldn't recommend anybody play this game at all for any system. I don't know if it came out for any other system besides the Nintendo DS. But if it did, don't play it. It's not worth it. Save your money. Save yourself time. It's just bad all around. So, with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to start my next A-DSplay. And I hope you guys enjoyed what little bit of gameplay that this game has provided me with, because I refuse to finish this game. It is just awful. It is not worth playing, in my opinion. It is not worth playing at all. So that being said, I'm Azariel. This is the wrapping up. And again, this is unorthodox, unbiased, and unorganized reviewing. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.